In this section we're going to cover an add-on called Forte Exorcist. You can see it all sort of piled up here in the middle of the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type /fx. It'll bring up the options. Now this is a great add-on. This is all about cooldown timers. There is multiple options for each class, but generally speaking I find the ones you'll want is this bar right here. It's the one that goes from 0 to 5 initially. This bar that says spell timer. The rest of these little bars that you'll see up here are generally designed for Warlock, which is what this was originally written for. So what you do is once you bring up the options with typing /fx, you can right click on it and it'll bring you to that section of the options. So all you do is you go to that section, check the enable, and they're gone. Now, spell timers are going to be things that are going to be cooling down that you've put on, so it'll also show your dots, sheeps, all those different types of things that are going to be cooling down when you use them on a boss. They'll also show your cooldowns, but that is also what this gray bar here is for. So if you want to right click on it, you go to its options. I changed the timescale from 300, which is 5 minutes, give or take, and I change it usually to 90, because most spells usually that you're going to be using on a regular rotation won't have more than a minute and a half cooldown, give or take. This one brings it up to just, well, it says 2, but it's not quite. As you see, it's 90 seconds. I also like to make the bar just a little bit bigger, which you can do just below here with bar width. I change it to somewhere around 400, and bar height I usually change to about 30. Now you can refine this if you don't like this, depending on the interface where you want to fit it in. To give you an example of how this works, I will land and use one of my abilities. Now you see this one here, it shows my illustration and I the Broodmother, as well as Frost Nova's cooling down. That cooldown that you show there is the length of time it would be freezing an enemy, providing no one hits it. This cooldown shows how long the cooldown of the actual spell is. Once it reaches 0 and flashes, that means you can use the spell again. So for hunters, priests, things like that, it's also very handy to be able to see what that one is. I also like to, right below the options for the cooldown timer, scroll just a little bit further down, and you see secondary splash, and that puts this little timer here. Now to get an idea what this does, when you use an ability and it has a cooldown, once it reaches 0 and is ready, it will flash. So you can put this somewhere else on your screen that you're normally looking, and you can see that that ability is cooled down. Once you have these things positioned where you want to have them, you basically just scroll to the top of the page and check off Global Frame Lock. It'll make them disappear, except for this bar, which you can change the alpha if you wish to disappear when you're doing this. If not, you can just leave it there and be happy with it being there. It's your call. Anyways, that's a section for Forte. It's very easy to use. You can go through, see what's there, set up different options for yourself, but generally those are probably the main 3 features you'll want to use in it.